Welcome to the RVA Returners Podcast, your weekly source for all things Final Fantasy TCG. Looking through some of these cards, I do think some that people are overlooking might actually see a lot more play. Like, I really like the rare Furion. I think that could definitely be pretty great. But not as great as being back for the next episode of the RVA Returners Podcast. Boys, we're back. We're back, and girls that are listening. I'm your host, Chris Adams. With me, as always, is Adam Lane. How you feeling today, man?
I feel okay.
Good.
Tired.
I hear that, man. Just lazy bones. We got a holiday weekend.
Dude, I keep forgetting that I have
Ain't
tomorrow.
it great?
I have Monday off.
So, like, Sunday's like the new Saturday this week, which is great. But there's only one way that we can start this podcast off. We've got a lot of fun stuff to talk about today. But before there's fun, you can't watch TGIF until you watch the news. And that's the way the cookie crumbles. That never gets old. That never gets old for me.
Kind of like ranch, right?
Like ranch. So
that should definitely be in the news, right?
No, the ranching is in the news. And there's a lot of news today. So first thing, we had a lot of tournaments happening today. And not just, we didn't have any happening like locally, but domestically and internationally. We'll start with a couple of LQs. I want to give a big congratulations to Zach Burrell for getting his qualification at the last Florida LQ down in Tampa. He had the O-line with him, and they were able to block for him. He was able to seal the deal. So, Zach, congratulations. We'll see you in L.A. I'm mad you didn't have to join me in the Alpha move, but I'm also glad you didn't have to. So, the road has been paved. Congratulations. We also had the day one of the Seattle Crystal Cup.
Yeah, we have the top 16 deck lists.
We do. They're pretty diverse. There's a couple.
I won't go through every deck list because that would take way too long. But it's like there's a fair amount of mono water, some ice earth in there, courtzy of typical people.
Oh yeah, the Okimoto special, man.
Yeah, Love it. There's two of those.
We have the some ice water Vikings.
A lot of Vikings in general.
Mm-hmm.
Some ice. I think I saw an interesting ice win list. That was probably the most off the wall
with
one.
like 5 win cards in it.
Zero turbo though.
Oh, that's a plus. You heard it here, guys. Breaking news: no turbo in the top cut of the Seattle Crystal Cup. So bask in that for a second.
Yeah, the closest thing is that ice win list, and it's not really even close. Honestly,
yeah,
it's a much slower discardy deck.
Absolutely. And then the other thing that was happening today, there was 2 big tournaments overseas. There was the X-Burst tournament, which I'm not familiar with. I mean, I've seen like the banner on the.
They had the first one last year.
Did they? Okay.
That was kind of like before we started getting going. I think that happened before all that stuff.
Okay.
So this is the second one. They were going to stream it. I think they had some internet issues.
Yeah, shout out to Esperdin for trying to get that going. But he said there were some internet issues. I remember seeing that. And Jonathan Ho, I believe, is the guy who won it. No deck list yet, so I don't know what he was on. I think they had like 47 people roundabouts.
Something like that.
I know Joseph here played in that.
Oh, nice, cool.
Yeah, I saw he had a post where he went 3-3. Said he was a little rusty, hadn't had a chance to play in a while, but nothing but positive comments to say. Which he's a class act. We all know that. So good to see him out and playing and things like that. Hope to get you on this podcast soon, my man. I know you're busy, but we'd love to have you on here. And then the other big tournament was the Grand Open in Italy. Yep. Shout outs to Joshua Freeman Birch. It was day one. He actually went undefeated in day one, which I want to say that qualified him for a bye. Like, he skips top 16 and goes right into top 8.
It's like that new rule that they're doing. They're doing it at US Nats too. It's not, except it's going to be top 31. So basically it's top 15. So if you're the 16th person, you're going to feel like crap.
Yeah, you get the prizing, but you just don't get to play in day 2, which is weird. But
then you get rewarded for doing good in Swiss.
You get to skip like the hard part, and then you get to kind of just go right into top 8.
Yes and no, because I can't remember if it's top 4 they go to like their Nats or whatever.
I want to say, I think they said in the chat it was top 6, but I don't know. The chat was off the rails. Boys, we did it. I had to tell Hunter Nance, Ranch has gone international. We don't take credit for this. This was something that I learned just from Hunter, because he just going to tournaments with him, and he was like, "You want to get ranched by this? Oh man, you just got ranched by that." And I was like, "Man, that's actually a really cool thing to say." And it just spread like wildfire. And we were in the chat, and the young lady doing the commentary, I believe her name is Stephanie. I'm not sure. I think that's her name, but she started using it, and it made us all so happy. The ranching herd worldwide, or ranching all over the world, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. But it was really cool. It was a great stream, very interactive chat. I know there, Cody was in there, Matt Rice was in there. I know newer face Mike Mullins, who won. I know he's a qualified player. He was in there hanging out for a little while. Shout outs to him. So we had just a lot of stuff, and I know there was something else too with Envy Games. I know there's a tournament happening there.
So I don't know all the details yet, but we do want to promote
bring it back to the U.S.
It's for a really good cause. So most people, I think, at this point have heard Envy Games lost a lot of their stuff.
They got robbed essentially.
Basically, yeah. So a lot of people have been donating cards to them or donating money if they can. And so I think a lot of the guys in New Jersey are going to do a tournament where all the proceeds go to Envy.
That's really cool.
And they're going to donate prizes. I'm pretty sure we're going to donate some prizes.
Oh, absolutely we are. Absolutely. And I know Austin Archer, one of our returner own, has sent a big care package down there, man. So, that's
and that was all him. That wasn't even
100% on him.
Yeah.
I remember he said he was doing something, but as soon as they showed the picture, I was like, man, he definitely spread the love, and good on you, Austin, for doing that. He was supposed to be on this episode with us tonight, but
he had stuff come up.
Yeah, he got caught up in family plans. It's a holiday weekend, it happens, but
yeah, I want to say that's middle of next month at some point, and I mean that kind of leads into the next thing too. Our next month is super busy.
Yeah, September is stacked for us.
So that was a tournament that we wanted to make, but I don't think it's going to be in the cards.
I know. Card game pun. We love those.
So we got our Richmond tournament next weekend, which kind of just sprung up.
Yeah. I remember speaking about it in passing, before the last monthly, and I was like, yeah, that should be fine. And I don't think we ever ironed it down.
Nope.
So I blame myself for that one, but that's all right. We're going to work our magic. We're gonna make that happen. We're gonna stream that, so we'll have a monthly.
I should have new equipment for that too.
Excellent.
And then the week after that is our community day, which I don't think we've officially announced yet.
No,
and we need to get Facebook stuff out for that too.
No, for sure. Are we doing that down at Pocket or up?
I believe that's at Pocket.
That's awesome. Awesome. Yeah, we're gonna have just a real big kind of give back to the community kind of day. We'll post details on our Facebook page and we'll share that with everybody. So if anybody at other scenes is curious about doing a community day, maybe you could follow our model, or if you need some inspiration, it's hey, that's a really good idea. We wanted to try this, but we'll try that too. That sort of stuff.
So we might stream parts of that too, but it's gonna be a lot of just playing and having fun. I don't think we're doing a tournament or anything, but we're gonna do gunslinger type stuff.
Yeah, I think we're gonna stream the gunslinger matches and stuff like that.
So
maybe do some popper.
Yeah, so we'll see. I'm not sure all the details for our streaming for that goes, and then the week after that is the Golbez Cup.
Oh man,
at the same location.
Yep.
Where we will be streaming. Mm-hmm. You'll be playing.
Yeah, I'm 100% playing.
I will not be playing because I'll be running the stream. Mm-hmm. I want to play, but I can't do both, and I really want to keep the stream going.
Yeah, for sure.
And then the week after that,
we're flying out to LA.
Is Nationals, so you're going out a day before me.
Yep.
To play in the LCQ, and then I'll be there the day of the LCQ. Mm-hmm. Probably into that, get some dinner, go to sleep, and then.
Yep.
Playing Nats the next day.
And just have a good weekend overall. So September is looking pretty stacked. But that doesn't mean we're going to, stop with the content. Our card spotlight videos seem like they've been doing pretty well. Be on the lookout for the one this week coming up. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I've actually been having a lot of fun.
Are you recording that one? I feel like you should.
I 100% want to record that one because I've been messing around with the list a little bit, and it is a lot of fun. The only gripe, and I might want to have you look at it, I don't really have, there's not so much a win condition other than I don't want to say it on here, but the win condition, it's tricky, but if you do it, you feel just like a golden god.
It's like 6-drop Orin, which is another segue.
Yeah, oh man. So yeah, that's it for the news. And what we're going to talk about today, it's going to be a lot of fun. No polio blankets needed this week, friends. We're having a good time. We're in high spirits. There's a lot of card game happening today. There's a lot of community stuff going on. So what we want to do, and we talked about this last week at the end, we want to go through each of the sets each of the sets and kind of re-review each of these cards as they stand in the meta right now. Because I think there's a lot of cards that people forgot about or are overlooking, because even with the changes in the metas, a lot of the decks have, I don't want to say they've stayed the same, but staples are staples are staples, and no one's like even exploring other stuff.
Yeah, and I will say, like, these episodes are going to be pretty fun, I think.
Yeah, we're going to be going through every set.
This might be a future video, too. Maybe, like, after a couple more sets have been released, we redo this again in video form.
Dude, I think it's fun to explore these sets.
And then another idea, and I mean, I know I'm just kind of rambling now.
No, it's fun.
Is to re-review our reviews. I think that'll be fun, too.
Dude, and that's the other thing, too, because after, we've said it before, we're looking to do more stuff like this because we are taking a more... We're taking a content first, playing second approach after this year's Nationals. Not that we're going to keep playing.
Yeah, 100%. I want to keep playing.
But we definitely want to zero in on the content and focus on that stuff so we can bring you guys more. We want to see the community grow. I think we've done our part initially to kind of help jumpstart that, and now we just want it to explode at this point.
Like Shantoto.
We want it to Shantoto explode. But now we're done rambling. Here we are. Opus 1 re-review. We're going to go in order. We're going to start with 6-drop Orin, like you said. So he's a 6 CP, fire forward, 9K, job guardian, category 10, obviously. His ability is when Orin deals damage to your opponent, you may play 1 fire backup from your hand onto the field dull. So, okay. I mean, I think he's still about the same, but there's now a dream play with him.
There is, but it's not worth, trust me.
You've tried it. You've been trying it.
So the issue is, I mean, I tried it at first. K-Tuna is the card we're talking about, which is a new card that lets you just get a fire summon and cast it, and all your fire summons deal 1k more. And she costs 6. So basically, you pay this guy for 6, and then you get a 6 CP backup. That's the idea. That's the dream play. Problem is, like, when you play this guy for 6, they kind of know what you're maybe setting up for, or at least you're trying to play something, like, and you're not really going to get good targets with your stuff, and you might get in for 1 point of damage, and that might feel good, but...
And also, chances are there's going to be a Viking in front of him to just... Boop.
Yeah, that too, in the current meta, yeah.
Yeah.
So not super strong, but you can do some cool stuff, I guess.
Yeah, I think he's a fun little build-around card. I mean, he's fine. Speaking of Orin, we have the other one here that's rare. He's a 5 CP fire forward, 9K. The backups you control cannot be broken by your opponent's summons or abilities. Which actually isn't bad, because the 3 CP Hecaton Chair is a very, very, very popular card right now.
Yeah, but I'll tell you why it's bad, though.
Sure, by all means.
There's not many backups that fire really needs to protect.
There aren't.
Like water and other things, like, and wind, they have backups that are, like, obviously important to them, that they want to keep, that have, like, these strong field abilities or these strong repetitive tap abilities. In fire... you say Hecaton Chair is important, so it has to be 3 or more. So at that point, you're looking at, like, Tella. But Tella just is going to break in response.
Yep.
K-Tuna might be good, but then if you break their K-Tuna, do you really want them to play another K-Tuna if they have it?
No, but here's the rub. Follow me on this one. There's a card that was in Opus 5 by the name of Star Sybil. How cute would it be to throw this guy in a deck that runs Star Sybil?
Oh, sure.
Like, boop. Because you could play him in like some sort of Gull Wings deck or something, because you can search him out with Brother.
Yeah.
And then just boop.
Yeah.
I mean, we're stretching here.
Yeah,
we're stretching.
I mean, there are ways you could try to make him playable. It just doesn't feel worth it.
Yeah. So I think again, still the same. Not much happening there. Next one is a classic 2 CP Red Mage. For a fire, 1 and tap, choose a forward. It can't block this turn.
Great card.
Card's still great.
It's never been bad.
Yep. Turns out this card is exactly where it's been. Still great. No reason not to play it. So now here's our next card. Here's our first one that I think is super relevant now. And this is 1 CP Ifrit. He's an EX burst, and it says choose 1 forward, deal it 4,000 damage. Right now, the sweet spot for forwards is 3K. This card might not be bad.
Yeah. So, but generally with 3K, you are looking to hit multiple things most of the time.
Sure. You're looking for a sweep effect.
Yeah. Which is why things like Royal Ripeness, I think, could be good.
I agree.
And stuff like that.
That's why you're starting to see Opus 1 Orlando see. Or is he Opus 1?
Yeah, Opus 1.
Yeah, we'll get to him in a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it is pretty decent. I mean, it gets rid of some problem cards like Paul, stuff like that. It's a burst.
Yeah.
It counts toward the Ifrit thing if you're working for that theme.
Which is a decent summon package these days. Yeah. And they're all better because of K-Tuna. So I think that's a card that could be explored. So why not? Next one is a 2CP Warrior of Light. He's a warrior. 5K. When Warrior of Light deals damage to a forward of cost 4 or more, double that damage instead. Again, could be relevant. A lot of the powerhouse forwards, even still to this day, cost 4. I think what's unfortunate is he doesn't fit what the Warrior of Light theme is now, which is the job title Warrior of Light. And I think if he had that job title, he might be playable, but the light one is still like the king.
You could do some interesting things with him, though. I mean, like, he can block up, right? Generally, that's what you're doing. He could threaten attack up, but most of the time you're threatening to block up. Because he's a warrior, he's searchable by, like, Hugh. He gets buffed by Ward.
And Kyros.
Yeah. So, if you want to run that
package... No, not Kyros. Ward is...
Yeah, Ward's the one that buffs. Kyros can buff him, but, so maybe if you're running, like, a Pauper Warrior style deck, it could be good.
Absolutely.
And, I mean, he's pretty solid. You're never going to probably run a full set of this guy, but...
No, 1, maybe 2, and I don't think he fits anywhere currently. Next one, we have 5CP Garland. He's a knight for 5CP for 8k with Brave, and when he attacks, Garland gains 4,000 power till the end of the turn. I still think he's... Look, I got a soft spot for this card, but I just think almost every other 5CP fire forward is just better. Zonde, you're just going to run Zonde. You're probably just going to run Edgar instead, or you're just going to run
Vermilion Bird
Joyu. Yeah, like there's just... I think he works in a deck if you're trying to build a deck around Marsh, and that's really it.
Yeah, and I mean, you saw that for a little while in Opus 4, and people were trying it. Again, I mean, the sad thing, we're starting out on Fire, and Fire's typically kind of a little weak right now. But, I mean, there doesn't mean that they have terrible cards. Like, some of these cards are good.
Yeah, and I just right now, I think Garland just doesn't have a place. While I think Brave is a good ability to have right now, especially with Ice running amok, he has no... He can still be tapped down and things like that. Yeah. And I think
it's easy to remove him, too.
Exactly. Him being only an 8K is pretty easy.
Yeah, he's a 5CP 8K, so he gets hit by, like, all removal.
Yep.
Typically. So.
Yep. And then next one here, we have a 2CP Godot. He's a 4K. When Godot enters the field, you may play 1 fire forward of cost 2 or less from your hand onto the field. And when Godot enters the field, all forwards you control gain 1,000 power till the end of the turn. I think that vomity strategy is kind of doesn't really exist anymore. Like the only viable vomit strategy these days is kind of Turbo Ice, really,
or Vikings.
You
go like early Vikings. Yeah, I mean, he's just not bringing enough, especially since the other Godot exists.
Oh yeah, Opus 5 Godot I think kind of elbowed this guy right out of just.
And he's limited. He's limited to fire.
Yeah.
So he has to play another fire 2CP. So you can't really like branch out and play like a multicolor deck that like abuses him.
Right. Which I think if he could get more than fire, he would be playable. But this is a card. This is a card you go back to and think of when they make more 2-drops. But the thing is, the other Godot just kind of does it better because they get a better buff, and all Godot has to do is attack, and then that 2-drop you just played can just attack now.
Yep.
So I don't think he has a place anymore. Now we're getting to semi-vanilla stuff. We have a 2CP Ranger. He's a backup for a fire 1 and tap. Choose 1 forward, cost 3 or less, deal at 2,000 damage. We're just going to move right past that.
Yeah, he's pretty bad.
There's nothing to talk about there. Next, we've got a 2CP Cloud. He's a 2CP 5K. If you control a Category 7 forward other than Cloud, Cloud gains 2,000 power. When Cloud enters the field, choose 1 forward. Opponent controls, deal it 2,000 damage. This card does actually see play. I know.
I think this card's great.
He really good in like Fire Iceless with cards like Phoenix. He can kind of combo off of a lot of different pingy effects. I think he's fine. I think he's an absolute fine card.
Yeah, I mean, right now in the current meta, he comes into play, kills a Viking most of the time, unless they have Waka out or something.
Sure.
If you're playing something that runs other 7 cards, he automatically becomes even better because now he's a 2CP 7K, and that's actually pretty relevant.
Super on curve.
Like I think that's like we discussed it one time on the podcast. Like where would you play an Urwa curve forward? And I think like 2CP set like 7K, which is 1 CP above curve.
Yeah, like Green Dragon. Like Green Dragon is the benchmark for like the perfect. And granted, he's not a forward, but when he becomes a forward, he is the benchmark for a overpowered forward. And also, We just talked about Opus 5 Godot again. He's already a 7K if you control Godot.
Yep. And he could potentially be a 9 if you're running like Tifa.
Now we're talking
Which
value.
we'll get to that in a second, too.
Exactly. Next one we have, this is a card that's actually seeing a lot of play these days. 2CP Black Mage. Fire and tap. Put Black Mage to the break zone. Choose a 4. Deal it 4,000 damage.
It just combos well with a lot of things that Fire Ice wants to do. So if you're playing Fire Ice, 4K is generally the number to hit.
Yep, because
Sid Reigns.
Zell.
Celis. Yeah, things like that. Furion if you're still running that.
Yep. If you can't finish Irvine, Black Waltz, sometimes if you got a big body to deal with VV, you just pop that, finish them off.
Yep.
So I think this card's good. I think I think it's one of those backups that people should experiment with to see where it fits, because I think that's a really solid backup. Speaking of solid backups, Evoker. 1CP backups are never going to be bad. They're even better now with that little card that was printed named Sid 2.
Yep.
Jesus Christ, that card is insane.
We'll get to a card later that I think if those decks get out of control, people are forgetting about, but we'll talk about it.
Oh, man, moving down the line. We're going to get to another 7 character. We have 3 CP 6K. We have Zac. If you control a card named Aerith, Zac gains plus 2,000 power. When Zac enters the field, choose a 4 opponent controls, deal it 2K, barf down.
This card's like a crappy Cloud.
Yeah, you would much rather have Cloud in every situation, so we're just going...
Like, he literally only gets 1K bigger than Cloud. You're forced to run multicolor because you need Aerith, and Aerith only exists in Wind.
Yep.
And then he's dealing the same amount of damage that Cloud would deal if you controlled a 7 character.
Yep, and Zac doesn't get the buff from Godot, so we're going to move right past him. Next up, we have a backup. We have Saz. He's tap. He costs 3 CP. Tap, choose 1/4, deal it 2,000 power. Saz will not activate during your next active phase. If you have cast a card named Brynhildr this turn, deal that forward 4,000 damage instead. Saz will not activate during your next active phase.
Okay, so I've played this card before, actually. It works really well when you play No-No.
Sure. Sure.
But you have to have both those things online. And you have to be running Brynhildr, which is actually pretty good right now. I haven't tried it since K-Tuna came out, so I feel like it might have gotten even better.
Sure.
And if you can play Brynhildr, deal 4K to something, like play Brynhildr, kill something, deal 8K, right? Let's say you have K-Tuna out. Tap, deal 4K to something. Go to combat, swing, untap Saz, 4K.
Yeah.
You know, and you could start to like really swing a board. You're forced into Firewind. I feel like this card's only good in Firewind.
Oh yeah. Which is not a bad archetype.
But I think you have to slow it down. That's the problem. A lot of people that play Firewind right now are playing like
super
fast.
Low to the ground, yeah.
And I feel like if you're running this card, it slows it down. You're gonna probably start running things like there's a Garland. I don't remember which Opus it's from. We'll probably get to it when we do these in the future. Yep. That when he comes into play, you can play a 3 CP backup or something like that. And it's really good in that deck because you just slam Saz or so
could be good.
It was actually pretty fun when I played it, and when it hit, it was really good. It was just the issue that deck's gonna run into is backup destruction, right? Like Hecaton Chair is popular, and this gets hit by that, No gets hit by that. So.
Well, there was that 5-drop Orin we talked about. Nah, forget about it.
Maybe he's good in that deck. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. So that's a card you could look at. Next one, we have a little bit of a vanilla standard unit here. We have Samurai. He's a 3 CP 6K with Brave.
Bad.
Yep, nothing to write home about.
Guy exists.
Exactly. And now we move on to the next card, Jet. This guy has a soft spot in everybody's heart. He's a 5 CP 8K. He was the first Fire legendary. For each forward opponent controls, Jet gains 1,000 power, and he has a S ability. It's Ultimate Jet Shot for S, Fire, 2, and tap. Choose 1 forward and break it.
So I played this guy early on when I first started playing the game, before I was like remotely competitive and really understood exactly how the game played.
Sure.
Because again, I got in at Opus 1 and then kind of stopped because I couldn't get product, and then came back when.
Story of most people's lives.
So, he was decent then. Now that things have kind of gotten like better, it's really hard for him to find a spot. His S is never really that relevant because this is the only Jack that exists right now.
Right. And what's unfortunate is there's a better 5-drop whose S ability is pretty much the exact same thing, and that's Edgar.
Yeah.
I want to say the cost is exactly the same, or it might be S2 Fire, 1 in tap.
Like I think that's right. I think that's
exactly the cost is different, but it does the exact same thing. But the difference is at least Edgar's getting you Sabin.
Yeah, I think in order for this guy to be relevant, they're going to have to print another Jekt that's good.
Right.
And this is like your second Jekt.
Yes.
If that makes sense.
Which sometimes it could be good.
So.
So, I don't know. I think right now 5 is a crowded spot, and Fire not good enough. All right, next we have a card that is good enough, and this is 2CP Tifa. She's a 2CP 4K with haste. Man.
Yeah, straight to the point.
She's right to the point. She's a little understated for her size, but sometimes, like if you're playing against somebody playing Fire, and you're on like 5 or 6 damage, they slam this, they slam Zell, you just win.
Yep. They have to have an immediate answer.
Yep. Card's good. Next one, we have another 2CP backup. Dodge.
That's how you said it right.
Dodge. Okay, so we have Dodge. He. I don't know.
It's a little boy.
Is it a boy? Okay, I didn't really care for
It's
13.
Saz's child.
Okay. Yeah. That makes sense. So if you control a card named Saz, it cannot be chosen by your opponent's summons or abilities. This card is immediately linked to how good Saz is, and
So obviously you can use this to protect your 3CP Saz backup that we just talked about from Hecaton chairs, but it's not as good with that Saz. It's better with the Opus 2 Saz, I believe. I think it's Opus 2, where he gets to attack and deal 1k for each damage you've taken, and that sees a pretty deep It did see a lot of play, and I still think it's pretty good, especially when you get dodged out, because he's really small.
Yeah.
But if you could keep him there and not let him be targeted, it's pretty decent.
Yeah, and honestly, I can see with with small guys being in the meta, I could see that Saz with Brynhilde kind of doing some pretty nutty things here. Next we have 9CP Bahamut. It's a summon. Choose up to 2/4 opponent controls. Deal them 10,000k. If they are put in the field from the break zone this turn, remove them from the game instead. I think the card's still fine. It doesn't really see much play right now, and I think it could. I think it has the potential to. I think if you're playing these high-end summons now, 7CP Phoenix is better because it does more.
Yep.
But I think this card's still, when you cast it, you just win the game.
Yeah, I think the other issue too, when you're playing the multicolor stuff with Agito and things like that, you'd rather just play Raiden.
Yeah, because there are things that just aren't tied to damage.
It's harder to deal with Raiden than this card. Exactly. The thing that will save this card going forward is its name.
Yes, absolutely.
I think they're probably, at some point, they're going to keep pushing that further. They had Opus 4 Caius, you got Opus 1 Fang, which we're going to get to in a second. And that makes these cards better.
Yeah.
And I think that's also why they're scared to print a good Bahamut. The closest thing we got was Opus 4. A really good one, I mean.
Yeah, and I think that's hands down the best Bahamut. It's fair costed. It removes from the game. It does that on curve damage. So I think Bahamut, 9CP Bahamut's still a good card. It still wins you the game. It's something that we'll keep an eye on in the future. Next one. Man, it makes me. All these cards really make me want to have a deck built around Saz, backup Saz for a card.
Well, that's what these cards are for. So these cards are all from 13.
Yeah, and this is the Chocobo that was living in his fro. And of course that's Chocobo Chick. It's a 2CP backup for fire and tap. Choose a fire backup and activate it. This card might as well just say activate Saz.
Yeah, I mean it could also it's something you could think about down the line if fire gets really good or something. And there's good activated backups.
Yeah, because most of the fire backups, they cost too much when you tap them, or they just break themselves.
Yep, exactly.
So
Saz is the only really example right now.
Yeah, and maybe down the road that will be something. And speaking of, we just spoke about her. We have Fang. She's a 4CP 7K, and the cost required to cast card named Bahamut is reduced by 2, though it can't become 0. And when Fang attacks, Fang gains first strike.
You got it. There you go.
Man, that was like Gucci Gang. Gains first strike until the end of the turn. Again, I think this is a card that's good, tied to how good the card Bahamut is. And I think right now, the only thing that sucks about her is there's another 4CP 7K that was printed later that has first strike all the time, and that's Shadow.
Yep.
I think Shadow's just a better card.
I mean, really, the reason you're playing this is for the first ability, right?
Oh, 100%.
Paying 2CP for the 4CP Bahamut feels
pretty
really
good, especially if you have K2 now. The thing's doing 9K for 2CP.
Yeah, the issue is it becomes a big part of your deck, and then you're cutting other fire cards that are just better. Well, you got to be playing fire in the first place, I guess. So it gets kind of rough. I tried something with this early on. Again, the same thing with Six Drop Barn, where I was playing this and Caius, and even the new Bahamut, just because its name was Bahamut.
Yeah.
It still wasn't that great.
Yeah. Just seems like it's missing something, but. Again, that's a card that, just keep your eyes peeled. And if you're playing a 13-centric deck, it could be fine. Could be absolutely fine. And now we're getting into a couple of cards that I like. First one is 4-drop 8K. It's Furion. And when Furion enters the field, choose a 4, deal it 4K. Man, that's, again, great in Fire Ice. It has been great in Fire Ice. And then Zell got printed. I still don't... I've said in the past I think Zell replaces Furion. I think there's room for both. And because you have that trade-off, Zell comes in... I think Zell is... I never said the card was bad, but I seriously undervalued that card. Mm-hmm. That card's amazing. It does so much, and I think Furion still is just as good, because Furion can take a hit. Like, it can come in, slap 4K on something, and now you've got an on-curve body that you have to deal with.
Yeah, there are different situations, right? Like, I think Zell's better in more situations because he's more versatile. Mm-hmm. But Furion, if you need a blocker and you need to deal damage, he's better than Zell. Zell is better as an aggressive card, and he can punish monsters and stuff.
Yep.
But if you need a blocker and somewhere to stack 4K, this Furion's going to be better.
Yep.
So.
And then, speaking of that, I think the next Furion is the rare one that's a 4CP 7K with 4 different, colorless abilities. You pay 1, Furion gains First Strike. Pay 1, Furion gains Brave. Pay 2, choose a 4, deal it 1,000 damage. Pay 2, Furion gets 1,000 power. All of these powers can be used multiple times. Obviously, we're looking at the last 2 for that. I think this card is fine. I'd like to see some play, but the problem is the one from Opus 6, I think, is just way better.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. Yeah, I don't think this card is that great.
I think it's great in Popper.
Oh, sure.
I think it's a Popper superstar.
The first 2 ones are pretty decent, like given those 2 keywords, but he is under curve, so you're probably going to want to also pay an extra 2, and at that point you're paying for another forward every turn.
Yeah, which seems real loose to me.
So that's kind of rough.
So, yeah, I think as long as the Opus, since they printed the Opus 6 one, that card's not good. But Popper, he's a superstar. Next card, this is a card that has definitely been on the come up, and that's Brynhildr, and that's because of K-Tuna. This card is now, it's a 3CP forward, 3CP summon, EX burst, choose a forward, deal at 7K. With K-Tuna out, the thing does 8K. Having a burst that does 8K to something, pretty relevant right now.
Yeah, hits a lot of things. Anything 4 CP or below is probably dead.
Yep.
So, there are exceptions, but
sure.
That's why it's good. That's really all the card does. There's not really much else to say about it. That's what it is.
And ever since K-Tuna became a thing, this has given like fire decks some more legs. It's given them some reach that they otherwise didn't have. Because now you don't have to waste your Bahamets the Bahamets can now get the prime targets. This thing can now get rid of that's a Dodaluma. I better get rid of that now while I have an empty board. Or, oh, look, on a burst I got rid of what, you know what I mean? Like, I think it just really created a new summon package for fire. It made old stuff better again for fire.
Yeah, which is a good thing. I like that.
I think it's great. So next one is another backup that I think is super relevant right now. Magus. When Magus enters the field, deal 3,000 damage to all forwards opponent controls. There's that magic number again. If your opponent's flooded out, and I think this is great against like Turbo too. Like if they've gone like Argath, Snow. Trying to think of another one. I don't know if
Thaumaturge. If you have cards, you have to have cards though.
Right, but even still, like against Vikings, like they get a couple Vikings out. Man, just windmill slam that thing. You've essentially wiped their board.
Yep, I think the issue with this card is Irvin's better.
Yeah, I agree.
There are going to be situations where this is better. Like if your meta is like all Vikings all the time, right? Then this is better than Irvin. But Irvin can kill one thing and typically combo with something a lot better, or kill something slightly bigger for the same cost. However, if this thing is killing 2 things, it's better than Irvin. Yep. But it just, how often is that situation going to come out?
Right, and I think with Vikings, that could be a meta call. Like that card could easily be like a 1 or 2 of in the backup line. Just, this is against Vikings. If you're not playing against Vikings or Turbo, it's CP. If you're playing against Vikings, you slam it on the ground. Next 2 cards, I'm going to lump these 2 together because there's really still nothing worth talking about. It's Squire. Both of them are Squire. You have a Vanilla 2 CP 5K, we'll never see play. Vanilla 1 CP 3K, won't see play. Now, these cards are I want to say they're good for what they do. They teach you the game. They're in like the demo decks. That's all they're good for.
The only way they ever see play is if there's some kind of Squire theme or something that does something nutty.
Squire Tribal, baby. I'm ready for it.
And it would have to be like really nutty. So.
Oh, I agree. All right, next up we have Lan. 3CP 7K is a forward. He cannot be blocked by a forward with power greater than his. And Lan cannot block a forward with power greater than his. I don't know.
He's pretty bad.
I think, I just think there's better. Even now, like I don't think he has a place anywhere. And I think as the card, a card like him gets worse as the card pool gets bigger.
His unblockable is too limited in what it does.
Yeah.
And the fact that he has a drawback as well kind of suffers. Mm-hmm. He is searchable by the card we're going to talk about in a second. Mm-hmm. But again, this is a card I played with when I played the game early, and he was okay then. But now, I just don't see how he ever is playing a deck.
He won't. Again, as the card pool gets bigger, he gets worse. Next one is Rain. She's a 4 CP backup. EX Burst, when she enters the field, you may search for one card named Land and add it to your hand. And for a fire 1 and tap, a card named Land gets 1,000 power till the end of the turn.
She sucks until they print a lawn that's good.
Correct. Absolutely correct. Yeah, if they make a lawn that's good, she'll be good. But until then, nope. Next one, we have Red 13. He's a 2 CP 5K with First Strike.
Pretty good, actually.
Yeah, I mean...
Combos with Godot. If you're doing pingy stuff, he's a card you should think about because First Strike is relevant there.
Yeah.
If you're thinking about cards like Shadow and stuff like that, you should think about this card. Combos with Cloud.
Yep.
So I think he's a slept-on card.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially when First Strike has become so important.
He's good for the same reason the other Tifa is good.
Yeah.
The 2 CP Tifa.
Yep.
So 2 CP, and he's on curve, and he has a keyword.
Yep, and it's a very relevant keyword that makes him better than most other forwards at that size.
Yep.
And then the last fire card is Labrau. She's a 3 CP backup. Fire forwards you control gain 1,000. Guess what? Anthems are still good. They're always going to be good.
Yep, she's still good.
Yep. Now we're moving on to the ice cards.
Before ice was great.
Do what?
This is before. Well, ice was okay then, I guess, but this is before the
what
times
it is
we
now.
have now. Yeah.
So interesting. So maybe none of these cards have a home.
No, some of them do. So you'll recognize some of them.
Okay. So we have a 3 CP backup. It's Chemist. When it enters the field, choose a forward, dull it. Nope. There's better cards that do that.
Costs too much, honestly.
Correct.
Yeah.
2 CP. Another Chemist. It's a 2 CP backup. When Chemist enters the field, choose a forward. It can't be broken this turn.
It's just not really on theme with ice.
Nope.
At least now, maybe back then we didn't know.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really fit anything that needs to be done. There's better 2 CP forwards. I guess maybe if you're trying to do some crazy stuff with
Shock Trooper.
Yeah.
I think this card goes great in the Saving Shock Trooper deck if you're really feeling froggy.
If that's what you're trying to bring to nets,
negative.
Go for it.
I would only do that if I am hammered. You take that deck if you do complete the Wade Boggs challenge on the flight.
But yeah, no, it's just not great. But it's 2 CP, so it's something you can always think about.
Yeah, and I think in a Shock Trooper deck, I actually think it's fine. But you have to be playing that deck. So next card, this guy is now Tier 1. We now have our first Tier 1 Ice Forward, and that's Argath. He's a 2 CP 3K. When he enters the field, your opponent discards a card from his or her hand. Broken. This card's broken.
So no one was playing this guy before Thaumaturge got printed.
Correct.
And I fell into the trap, too, when Thaumaturge got printed, and I was like, well, Thaumaturge is bad because this card's bad. And I was wrong. The reason that Thaumaturge sees play and the reason Argath sees play now, or even before Turbo was a thing, Thaumaturge was a standard unit, so you're going to run the full package, and you can have multiples on the field. And with Turbo, that's relevant, too, because now you can play 2 Thaumaturges. And so because you're running 3 of that card, and why not run another 2 CP that could potentially make them discard?
Yep.
And then that turned into Turbo. So this card is a worse Thaumaturge, but it sees play because it's basically like Thaumaturge number 4 and 5.
Yeah, 4, 5, and 6, because it's a 3 of, and this card's great. And 6 months ago he wasn't, which is weird to me. But it is what it is. We all know what it is. But speaking of a card that still isn't great, other than having an amazing haircut, that's Orin. Orin?
Orin is right.
Orin, okay. He's a 3 CP ice backup. All he is, he's a vanilla as shit. All he has is an S, Celestial Stasis. For the low cost of S3 ice and tap, you can dull all the forwards your opponent controls. We're just going to skip right over this guy. He's bad. And that,
I'll touch on it for 1 second. It won't take me long. It's overcosted S, and it's an S, so you have to run multiple copies of this card. So it's just no.
And then in Opus 2, or is it Opus 3, they made Renoa.
Yeah.
The old Renoa that just dull everything when she dies. Just for way cheaper, you can do a better ability.
A lot of these abilities you're going to see in this set, I think, are too slow.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. First, we have our first forward. It's a 2 CP standard unit. It's Bard for 2 ice and tap. Choose a forward and dull it. This card's bad.
It's meh.
Yep, it's very meh.
Yeah.
Next card is actually pretty solid. It's a backup. It's 2 CP Bard for ice and tap. Put Bard into the break zone. Your opponent discards a card from his or her
We should
hand.
state that the last card was a forward,
Yeah,
not a backup.
that Bard was a forward, and this one is a backup.
Which actually makes him a lot worse. I forgot he was a forward, too. So, yeah he's terrible.
Yep. But this one's not bad. This one, again, discard has become the name of the game, but I think this one gets overlooked because there's better 2 CP backups that were printed that do this, but better.
Yeah, so Kazusa exists.
Kazusa and Bard from Opus 6.
The new Bard exists. And yes, those do make each player discard a card, but you mitigate that by not having a hand.
Yep.
So those just become better because you're not paying the extra ice CP, and those are just literally tap breaks.
Mm-hmm.
So, but if you were looking to play a deck that runs those, or maybe more of a tempo ice variant, could see play.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree with that. I think it has a home. Next one is 5 CP Kuja. He's a 9K, and when he's chosen by a summoner ability your opponent controls, your opponent discards 1 card from his or her hand.
He costs too much.
He costs too much, and there's another card that does the same thing. Is it Capricious Reaper? That literally does the exact same thing, but it's cheaper.
It's a 3 CP 7K.
Yep, which is better. So this guy costs too much. Up next, we have EX Burst. It's 3 CP Shiva. EX Burst, choose a forward, dull and freeze it. Not good enough anymore.
Yeah, it was decent. It was really good. Opus 1. You usually would combo this with a card we'll talk about in a minute. And it was a burst, so it was nice. But then they printed more Shivas that are better, or just more ice summons in general. You saw this get a little bit of a resurgence when Opus 4 Shiva came out.
Yeah, because they were running I know I was running that for a while because it made the Opus 4 Shiva that you're paying 2 CP for do 12K to that.
But then you realize you don't need it to hit that hard, so they're just running Opus 3 and Opus 4 Shiva.
Right, which I think are the best 2 Shivas you can run.
So yeah, it's just, it costs too much, and the EX Burst isn't as relevant because there's a fucking forward that exists called Genesis. So
yeah. So I could see why this card was good before Genesis came out. Then, because we've said it before, abilities that summons have on a body are just innately better on that body. And Genesis just completely made that card obsolete. So did 5 CP. I think 5 CP Kuja is still a better card than that. The new one, not this old one, but the new one.
Yep.
So that's fine. And then the next one, we have 1 CP Shiva. It's an EX Burst. Choose a dull forward, deal it 5K. With 3K being that sweet spot, I think it could be fine. But again,
it has the dull thing. It has to be dull.
Which makes it a lot less appealing. And also, too, Ice right now is extremely narrow.
Yeah, especially if you're running Celis can just do 4K when she does damage. That's usually enough.
She's just better.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't think this card really ever warrants a slot in your deck right now.
I agree, and that may change, but if it didn't have to be dull, I would humor it. Next one, 1 CP backup summoner. Card's broken. Card's great. 1 CP backups will never be bad, and this one the ramp is too strong. All right, next we have 3 CP Squall. He was the first Ice legendary. When Squall blocks, he's a 3 CP 6K. When he blocks or is blocked, choose a forward. You may deal it 6,000 damage. Again, I think with Ice being the way it is, this isn't the Squall you want.
Yeah, I mean, people thought for a little while when this card first came out that it was going to be ridiculous and unstoppable. Just because it was just going to be throwing 6Ks everywhere. Now it just dies to everything, and you probably won't even get to block that much, so your special's not even really that relevant. Yeah,
that just isn't good enough because the Opus 6 Squall, the one that's a 2 CP 5K that has first strike, when he literally says, I'm better for playing me in the deck that I'm supposed to be in.
Yep.
So, but this Squall's amazing. This is 4 CP 6K Squall. If you control a card named Laguna, Squall gains plus 3,000 power. When Squall enters the field, each player discards a card from his or her hand. If you control a card named Laguna, your opponent discards 1 more card from their hand. There's been a lot of... this card was initially in the Turbo build when it popped up, because Squall Laguna is still... in Pauper, that's even... A lot of times in standard constructed play, that's a very powerful turn 1.
Yeah.
But this card's getting a lot more buzz because of Opus 6 Laguna. They're playing that, searching this guy, playing him, and then blinking him with Renoa, making your opponent discard 4 cards.
Yeah.
So that's a hand, that's a literal hand strip.
Yeah, I mean you have to set that up, but yeah.
Oh yeah, and I know that's something that's pretty popular right now. So I think this card's still good. This card will continue to be good as long as people are still playing that Opus 6 Laguna.
Yep.
So, which is another card I was extremely wrong about. Next card is one that's become super relevant again. It's 1 CP Snow. He's a 1 CP 3K. When he attacks, choose a forward opponent controls and dull it. If you have cast a card named Shiva this turn, freeze it also.
Yeah, people used to combo it with, they would dull and freeze someone with 1 Shiva, then attack, dull and freeze 2 targets, and then you're swinging for a couple turns.
Yep.
It's just really good. Yeah.
And he's showing he's now back to being tier 1 status because he is a 3 of in the turbo discard deck. And I know a lot of builds now are starting to run Opus 4 Sarah. Mm-hmm. So you have him out, you play Opus 4 Sarah, you dull and freeze something when it comes into play, then you swing with Snow, dull something, and then you know. So Opus 4 Sarah is actually really good right now too, and because
I think she's always been good, honestly. But yeah, you gotta play 13 cards.
So. Yeah, there you go. And next card we have a 5 CP Sephiroth. We have our first Sephiroth. He's a 7K first strike, which is good. And when he enters the field, each player discards 2 cards from his hand. He's good. There are some turbo lists that run him, but he's not necessary.
He costs too much.
Yeah.
The only card you should be playing that costs 5 CP in that deck is Sit Stain.
Correct. So, but I've seen some decks that run it. I don't know if they're wrong.
Just
I don't
play
know if they're
Squall.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, that's the problem, I think.
Yep. Next card, we have 2 CP Sarah. So you control a card named Snow. It can't be chosen by your opponent's abilities. Card's fine.
It's fine if you run it with Snow.
Yep.
It's really good with Opus 6 Snow, actually.
Yeah, I agree.
But again, you gotta be playing Opus 6 Snow, so.
Yep. Next card, we have 3 CP Terra. She's a 3 CP 6K. Cost required for your opponents to cast summons is increased by 1. Yeah, not good enough. She can't be chosen by your opponent's summons, which may actually be pretty relevant. But I think the next card we're getting ready to look at is
she can be chosen.
Terra can't be chosen by your opponent's summons. Yeah.
Oh, you're right. It's just not on the list that I'm looking at yet.
Yeah.
Actually, FFDex has a. It's wrong. Okay.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, she has an S. She's just not good enough. The other Terra is better.
Which moving right along to that one. When Terra enters the field, choose up to 2 dull forwards your opponent controls. Deal them 4,000 damage. For an ice, you can choose a dull forward, deal it 1,000 damage, and your magic charge is an S. She gains a field ability that if Terra does damage to a forward, double that damage till the end of the turn.
Yep. It's just really good.
She's good, right? I think again. She's amazing right now with the sweet spot being 4K and below. Like
as long as they're dull.
Yeah, which a lot of the things that like if you're playing against like a fire deck, which is a thing, they swing with Tifa, they swing with Zell. Windmill slam her, you just completely set them back.
Yeah, but a lot of times Vikings tend to be upright. Sometimes they're not. I mean, and you can combo this, or you can like let them hit you twice and then play it. Feels pretty decent. But.
Yeah, I think she's good.
Yeah.
Next card, we have 4 CP backup. It's Devout. Tap, put Devout into your break zone. Choose a forward if cost 4 or less from your break zone. Play it onto the field. You can only use this ability during your turn. This card has become a 3 of in a lot of decks because of Renoa.
Yeah, it's still expensive backup, but it does something really strong. Mm-hmm. It's seen a lot more resurgence because of Renoa. It's like Red Mage. It's a staple backup. It's never going to go away until they rotate the set out.
Yep, and the number has increased because for a while, like Opus 4 and 5, people were just running 1. Now they're running 2 and 3 of it. Yeah. Because just the Renoa blink is so strong right now. Mm-hmm. Next we have Time Mage. He's a 2 CP backup for Ice and Tap. Choose a forward. It can't attack this turn.
Just play Arcanist.
Yep, moving right along. Next one we have a 3 CP Knight standard unit. Vanilla as shit. Moving right along.
Yeah, again, these cards only be relevant if they print like something else.
Agreed. Next we have Nuge. He's a 3 CP 7K. When he enters the field, your opponent discards a card from his or her hand. When Nuge leaves the field, your opponent draws a card. I like this guy. I actually ran him in my turbo build that I took to Gen Con. Did pretty well with it. Nuge did work. I just think the turbo list since the DGS package, he just doesn't fit anymore. Yeah. I'm not saying he's a bad card. I still think there's room for him in an ice build somewhere.
It has to be fast. It has to be like you can't punish it, or you have to be able to punish them for drawing or something.
Correct. Yeah. Next is Hades. He's a 5 CP summon. Choose a forward and backup opponent controls. Dull the forward and return the backup to his hands. Yep, we're just going to move right along.
It's just a bad card. You're not going to see it. The other Hades is not good either, and that's better than this one, and that doesn't see play. So.
Exactly. Next we have 3 CP Summoner. Ice, put Summoner into the break zone. Choose a summon, cancel an effect. It's too slow.
It is. It is cool that it can dull itself to its own ability.
Yeah.
But Edward exists again. Edward does other things. Edward costs the same.
Yeah,
and then
stays on the field.
Yeah, and then it benefits from you having multiple Edwards in your deck. So.
Yep. Next, we have a standard unit. It's a 4 CP Dark Knight. He's 4 CP 7K for 2 ice. Deal 1,000 damage to all the forwards your opponent controls.
Undercurve. Ability's too expensive. Just run other stuff.
Yep. Moving right along to the other Dark Knight with literally the same art. The hair color is different. That's just so cheap.
It's because of Final Fantasy 3. It's a different character, technically.
Oh, whatever.
Yeah.
All right, so 3 CP Dark Knight is 3 CP 8K. When he's put from the field into the break zone, Dark Knight deals you. I'm not even going to finish that.
This card is so bad. Yeah, it deals you a point of damage. It's really bad.
Keep on going. Next, we have Joseph. He's a 4 CP 8K Brave. Tap, put Joseph into the break zone. Choose a blocking forward. It can't be broken this turn.
Again, doesn't fit the theme of ice. Just doesn't make sense. Kind of bad.
Yeah, I wish he could do. I wish he could be somewhere else.
I guess you could put him with that Shock Trooper deck if you really want to.
No, but Shock Trooper would have to break though. He'd have to block. He doesn't do shit on blocking. But
that's true. It is blocking only.
I'd like to see more Rebel stuff in the future. I just think he's in the wrong color, and that's the problem. But moving right along.
Yeah, we should start just kind of...
Yeah, if it sucks, it sucks. Well, next we've got a good one. We got Hunter Nance himself. We got the Duke.
Yeah, again, anthems are never bad.
Yep.
Today at
Duke Lark, we all know what he does. He'll never be irrelevant. Next we've got Laguna. He's a 5 CP 9K. When he deals you damage to your opponent, choose one dull forward. You may deal it 7,000.
The other Laguna's better. And then the S, I mean, you can do 9K to a dull, but again, it's like, these are all... Like, they have to be dull.
Super conditional effects.
So, and the other Laguna is better. So.
Yep. So now we're talking about a good card here. 4 CP Laguna. He has an EX burst. When he enters the field, choose one forward opponent controls. Dull it. If you control a card named Squall, freeze it also. And if you control Squall, Laguna gains 2,000 power. Great turn 1 beater, man. 2 9Ks on turn 1, and then you drop Renoa. She's also a 9K. Then you play Duke Lark. Guess what? They're all 10Ks.
Yeah.
Get fucked.
It's not bad. People are starting to play the 3 CP one just to search Squall out of your deck and get a shuffle and stuff like that.
The Masters Turbo list ran one of that Squall and 2 of this one. The burst, burst in that deck is... Oh, you're telling me. It's great. Next card, 3 CP 9K Leon. Where are we going to keep on going?
Yeah, I mean, there might be a point where he's okay, but it's...
Somebody was playing him in a list today in the Italy tournament.
Yeah, I mean...
He got ranched.
Yeah. You have to set up so much crap for him to even be worth it.
Yeah.
It's just so...
I agree. So now we're getting to the win cards. First one is 4 CP Alexander. He's an EX burst. Choose a forward of cost 5 or more and break it. Guess what? Diabolos is just better.
Yeah, just play Diabolos. Costs 1 more CP. You lose the burst, but it's way more versatile.
Correct. Next card I think is absolutely fantastic still. Valifor is a 5 CP summon. Return all forwards to their opponent's hand, to their owner's hands. Since the monster control deck became a thing, this card became the win condition of that deck.
Yeah, it was one of them. I mean, it's how you... Mm-hmm. It was lights out a lot of times.
Oh yeah, chances are when you played that, you just won the game. It was just perfect.
It's a really good card. It's worth the legendary status.
Next is 5 CP Vaughn. When he enters the field, you may play a win forward of cost 3 or less from your hand onto the field. When he attacks, choose up to 2 backups you control and activate them.
Just play Bards.
Yeah,
and he we're to get to him too. But.
Yeah, I like this card in title a lot. He's like the backbone of like getting my board out for my 12 title deck.
Sure, yeah.
So he's fine. I think he's fine. And he's also S fodder for the starter Vaughn. Next one is Aerith. She's a 3 CP win backup. When she enters the field, choose 3 backups you control other than Aerith and activate them, which means she's free. And then Planet Protector, S tap, activate all the forwards you control. They can't be chosen by summons or abilities. Still a great card. If you're playing mono win, she's still slamming.
Yep.
But this one, however, is not. This is the one that just should get stabbed.
Yeah, her problem is her name's Aerith, so literally you're playing for S fodder. She's not bad in title.
Yep, she's a 2 CP backup, and when she enters the field, choose a backup you control other than Aerith and activate it. Poop, moving on. Next we have Dancer, 3 CP backup. Tap, deal 1,000 damage to all forwards opponent controls. Great in conjunction with, like, not the rare Barbarisha, but the other one. If you can pull that off and wipe the board, feels good.
Yeah, people play it with, like, Angel Pendants and things like that.
Sure, makes sense.
But, yeah, she does cost 3, but it's only a tap, which is kind of nice. But she's pretty mediocre, I think.
Yeah, I think just the way the win deck is built now, she just doesn't do enough. All right, next we have Onion Knight. He's a 4 CP 8K. When he enters the field, choose a backup you control and activate it. Barftown, not enough happening there.
Yeah, he's just too vanilla for a 4 CP.
Yep.
He doesn't affect the board enough.
Yep, and now nestled in those bad cards, we have a good card here. 1 CP Evoker. Card's great. Card's even better with Sid now. All right, moving right along. Forward, you have a standard unit, 2 CP Thief. He's a 2 CP 5K. When he enters the field, your opponent puts the top card of his or her deck into the break zone. The backup Riku is better, and then if I'm paying a 2 CP that's going to do that, I'm playing Paul.
Yeah, there's also the Opus 4 Thief that is better. I think it's Opus 4, the one where it says when it leaves the field. Windmill.
Yeah.
And you can run it in conjunction with things like Opus 1, Kefka, stuff like that.
Yep.
I played a deck like that at locals one time. It was pretty fun.
For sure. And then here's another terrible card. This is a 2 CP Thief. He's a backup this time. When he enters the field, your opponent mills the top card of his deck. Moving right along.
Yeah, not good.
Yep. And now we got a good card. It's 2 CP Zidane. When he's a 2 CP 3K, severely under curve, but he's pretty much hexproof. He's a bogle. He can't be chosen by your opponent's summons or abilities. It can't be blocked by a forward that costs 4 or more.
I'll call it right now. He's going to be broken when items are put in the game.
Yep. That will be the card you want to play when you can Voltron him up and just swing for the fence. Especially if there's an item that will give him Brave. Oh, forget about it.
I mean, just make him big enough. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Forget about it. All right, next we have Sid Highwind. 4 CP 8K. When the forward that took damage from Sid Highwind is put into the break zone on the same turn, your opponent puts the top 2 cards of his or her deck into the break zone, and he has an S Highwind. Your opponent mills 2.
Yeah, and the next card does a very similar thing. It's the 2 CP 5K that has his first ability.
Yeah.
So we'll just cover both these at the same time. They're not great. If you want to play like a fun mill deck, like Wind Earth or something, it can be fun, but it's not competitive.
Yep. There's just a better mill deck.
And it sucks that he's like probably one of the worst 7 cards. You can't really. It's hard to find room for him.
Yep, for sure. So next we have Sylph. She's a 1 CP summon. Choose a forward activated. All the forwards you control gain 1,000 power.
It's pretty decent.
Yeah.
Can give you a blocker when your opponent doesn't expect it.
Yeah.
It's an EX burst. It buffs all your forwards. It's okay.
Yeah, not bad. Next we have relevant cards. We have Chocobos. It's the 3 CP 4K with haste. When he forms a party, Chocobo and all the forwards forming that party gain plus 3,000 power till the end of the turn.
Probably one of the better Chocobos.
Correct.
It's really good.
Card's really, really good. And then the one right next to it is pretty good too. When he forms a party and attacks, Chocobo and all the forwards forming a party with it gain 2,000 power till the end of the turn.
You would probably only play this if you're playing like straight up Chocobos. The other one you could just play.
Yep. I agree. And just remember, they are standard units, not job Chocobos, so you cannot search them with Chocomog. Someone did that on stream today, too.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Yep, can't do it. Next, we have 5 CP Devout. When he enters the field, choose one forward to cost 2 or less from your break zone. Barf, we're going to keep on going.
Paul? But it costs too much. It's 5.
Yeah, you'd rather just play Phoenix and do that.
Yeah.
Next, we have 3 CP Ninja, 3 CP 6K. For win, discard 1 card from your hand, choose a forward, discard 2,000. Too much for too little.
Way too much. It's 3 CP for 2,000 damage.
Yep, and then the next card is Nora. She's a 3 CP backup. When Nora enters the field, you may search for a card named Hope and add it to your hand.
Will only be good if Hope becomes like really good.
There's the Mono and Pew Pew deck runs
the 4
Hope.
CP Hope, but they don't run her because their backup slots are
pretty tight. Yeah.
Tight, yeah.
So maybe down the road, but right now, no. Now we got a good card as 5 CP Bartz, EX Burst. He's a 9K. When he enters the field, activate all the wind characters you control.
One of the best mono wind cards.
Yep, honestly. This guy costs 0. He is free. He's really, really good. Next one, we have Bart's 4 CP 8K. Bart's has all the jobs. He's broken in title.
Yeah, really
That's
good.
About it.
Yeah, really good in title, and then very niche use in other places.
Correct. Then we have Hope. He's a 3 CP 7K forward. When he enters the field, choose a backup you control and activate it. If you have cast a card named Alexander this turn, activate all the backups you control.
Not good enough.
Not doing enough. Yeah. Next, we have Maria. Again, she's a 4 CP win forward. Except all the forwards you control gain 1,000 power, not just win forwards. She's amazing. She still sees play. She will always see play. If you're playing win cards and forwards, there's no reason not to play her. So.
Yep, agreed. Yeah.
So next we have Y'shtola. This one started to make a comeback too, because it turns out all cards named Y'shtola are just good. She's a 2 CP 3K for win. Choose a forward, deal 1,000 damage. You can tap her, choose a forward, deal 2,000 damage. Her, before like people were using Cactar, like her and the Dodaluma machine gun were a very real thing.
Yeah, I mean you have to build your deck more around this one, whereas the other one, well, same with the Scion one too. But the other Wid legendary one, you just play her.
Yep.
But when the other two work, they work.
Yeah, like this one is a main part of that mono win, that Australian Pew Pew deck, and she's good. She's really good in that deck.
For sure. If you can protect her, she's really, really strong.
Agreed. And next we have 3 CP Yuffie. She can't be blocked by a forward of cost 4 or more. She has Bloodfest as an S. It's S tap. Choose up to 3 forwards. Divide 6,000 damage among them as you like. It isn't. I mean, granted, you could really catch somebody off guard if they just have all their Vikings out and you're just like, brat.
Yeah, I mean, we'll cover the next Yuffie too. She's a 1 CP 3K that can't be blocked by 3 or more. So just play Paul. It costs 1 CP more. He's better.
And he's taking 6 cards away from you.
If you want to play Yuffie, play Earth with Vincent. Play the free one.
Yep, I agree. Next one we have forward. It's a 1 CP Archer with First Strike. Pretty vanilla. Not good enough.
Yeah, it dies to everything. Also, 3K right now, you're just asking to die.
Yep. However, this next Archer is a wind staple for 2 CP backup for 2 wind and tap. Put Archer into the break zone. Choose a backup of cost 3 or less and break it. Card's super relevant. Card is great. It's going to break Anthems. It's going to break Minwu. It's going to get rid of all the problems.
Falls in line with Devout and Red Mage. It's just like if you're playing wind, probably this card is there.
Yep. You're playing at least like 2 of them.
Yeah, especially now with backup breaking being so prevalent. However, it's 3 or less, so you can't hit things like Sid 2, Alice.
Correct.
So.
Next one is 2 CP Riku. She's a backup for a wind and a tap. Opponent puts 1 card from deck into the break zone. She has Mug, which is a S wind and tap. Your opponent puts 2 cards. She's big part of the Urianger Mill deck.
Yeah, usually it's like Mill is like a second theme. Like the other ones are basically like I'm all in on the Mill. She's just a backup where you're just like, oh, okay, I got a wind mana floating.
Yep, boom.
Yeah, I'll mill you.
Yep, it's just a great like end of turn on your opponent's thing to just really.
It's like why not kind of thing.
And you're taking away their resources.
Yeah, and then the next Riku, 4 CP 7K. Mm-hmm. She comes in the field. You can return up to 5 backups you control. You can do some cute stuff. I do think there's a lot unexplored with this card, but it's going to take someone to like really mess with it to make it good.
I agree. So, moving on to Earth, we're just about done. We're speeding through a lot of these. Amador is a 4 CP backup. When he comes into play, search for a card named Lightning or a card named Snow and add it to your hand.
Great in title. Sucks everywhere else. Amazing, off color.
Amazing in title. Next is Dark Knight, 2 CP 3K. For each point of damage you have received, Dark Knight receives 1,000 power. There's better Earth cards that do that. Like, what's his nuts? The big dumb Berserk guy.
Lanista. Lanista. I guess if you're doing some sort of standard Unity stuff and he can get really big, it's fine, but probably not going to be doing that with Earth.
Indeed. Well, next card's fantastic. It's 4 CP Vanille. She's a 4 CP 7K. When she's put from the field into the break zone, you may search for a card named Hecaton Chair and remove it from the game. If you do, return Vanille to the field dull. She's really good, especially after Opus 4 when they printed the other Hecaton Chair, and combos really, really well with Opus 4 Delita.
Yeah, she's annoying. And both Hecaton Chairs are good cards, so you're fine running all of them.
Yeah, I think running her in a deck is not a bad idea. Next we have 5 CP Vincent. He's a 5 CP backup. When he attacks, he gains first strike until the end of the turn, and he has Berserk Dance, which is S tap. Choose a 4, deal 6,000 damage.
Play the other 5-drop Vincent.
Yep, correct, because that one searches for a card named Vincent. Next card's pretty good. It's in a cross. She's an Anthem. All Earth 4s get 1,000 power. She's amazing. Great card. If you're playing yellow cards and forwards, play her. Next one is Mystic. She's a 2 CP 3K. Put it back up from break zone, and Mystic gains 3,000 power till the end, moving right along.
It was an interesting card until Furion was printed, because it was one of the few ways to get your backups out.
Oh, man. Furion just does it better. Speaking of cards that do things better, we have 4 CP Guy. He's a 4 CP 8K. Brave, and Guy cannot become dull by your opponent's summons or abilities.
Short and straight to the point. He's really good against ice.
Yep, you slam that guy on ice, and you just watch them cry. Next one is 6 CP Gabranth. For each point of damage you have received, Gabranth gains 1,000 power. If you have received 6 or more points of damage, he gains Brave. Boy, he's only good when you're about to die. But
and he costs too much, though.
And the Opus 5 Gabranth, I think, is better when you're about to die. So.
Yeah, and the other Gabranth, too, I think costs less when you're about to die as well. The Opus 2 or 3.
Mm-hmm. So that one's just not good enough. Next one?
Probably skip the next card, too.
Yep, he's a 4 CP 8K that does nothing. Moving right along. Next we have a 2 CP Black Belt. He's a backup. Choose a blocking fort. It gains 1,000 power till the end of the turn. Not good enough.
Yeah, there's just better 2 CP backups.
Correct. Next we have Gipple. He's a 4 CP 8K with EX Burst. When he enters the field, all forwards you control gain 4,000 power till the end of the turn.
He was really good until they started printing a lot of good Earth cards.
Yeah, he was good until Opus 5. Yeah. And Opus 5 just made him obsolete.
Yeah, there's just way better things you could be running at the slot that he would take up.
Correct.
And it's just, you never need to get to that swing turn because Wool exists and you can just keep pushing forward.
Yep.
All
right, next we have Kamari. He's a 4 CP 8K. Ronzo Rage for an S and 2 Earth. Choose a 4 opponent controls. He gains its special ability till the end of the turn. You can use his S without paying any cost, but only once.
He's a cute card. You could try him at locals. He's not very competitive.
People are already talking about him with new Barts, but I think that's...
you have to hope that your opponent's running the new Barts.
Yeah, and if you pull that off, your opponent deserves to have that happen to him.
So.
All right, next is 2 CP Kamar. He's a backup. He gains all elements of character's control except for light and dark. Barf.
Yeah, it's not good enough. Just play Cosmos or Chaos or something.
Yep, next we have Kefka, 4 CP Earth backup. Tap, choose the 4 you control, gains 5,000 power till the end of the turn, and at the end of the turn you break it. This card is busted with Savin.
Yeah, I love this card. It's
with Lednar and Savin.
It's just hard to find room for decks that want to do that thing now without cutting cards that are just innately better.
Yeah, no, I agree with that 100%.
But, I mean, when he works, he works. He's really good.
Yep, next one is a fantastic card. It's the 1 CP Evoker. Guess what? These cards are still good, and I'm going to say it every time. Next we have Golem. He's a 1 CP EX Burst Summon. Choose a 4. It gains 2,000 power till the end of the turn. If it's blocking, it gains 4,000 power till the end of the turn. Sadly, this card was really, really good until, like, Cockatrice came out.
The problem is, they're just better. Earth Summons are, like, really high commodity right now, and it's hard to find room for the ones that are really good as is, so this usually just doesn't make the cut. Funny enough, this I think was the first card that was like had to be reprinted in a
It was because it said something. It's because the distinction between blocker and blocking.
Yeah.
So because it gave them like the 4,000 power to like it's great. Next card we can skip over. No, I'm kidding. Next card is probably one of the best cards in the game, and that's Shantoto backup. She's a board wipe. Chances are if you're playing against Earth cards, there's at least 2 of these in the deck, or 1. Because
if you see yellow, just assume it's there.
Correct. And the thing is, the card's good in any number, right? Because of Star Sybil. With the fact that it was searchable, Shantoto will always be good.
Yep.
Fantastic card. Next is Cecil, 3 CP 7K. When you receive damage, choose a 4 to your opponent controls. You may deal it 5,000 damage. I think this card is really good against Ice, and I think this card is going to start seeing some more play.
Yeah, it's interesting against Ice because like you can kill Thaumaturges and stuff.
Yep.
You just got to get them on the board. And, I mean, there's other Earth cards that just do the job better typically.
Well, it's one of those things that even if they have the Fords out and they play Genesis and they dull and freeze it, okay, please go ahead and swing because whatever you swing with is dead.
Yeah. I mean, it's the thing is you're still racking up the damage. But yeah, if you can turn that corner, it's great.
I agree.
So.
Next is Seraphy. She's probably one of the best turn 1 plays on the play you can have. She's a 2 CP 6K backup, so she's overcurved.
On the play, she's free.
Yep, on the play, she's amazing. Yep, she's an EX Burst. When she enters the field, each player selects a Ford in their break zone and puts it in their hand. And again, she's great on turn 1 if you're the first player.
She can be good late game too if you don't care about what your opponent's getting. If something
or you Frey Spell Guard their break zone away.
Or that works too.
Yeah, so that might actually be something cute. So I think she's okay. Next is Titan, 2 CP Summon. Choose a 4 you control. Dull it. It can't be broken this turn.
It's pretty
card
solid.
Is still great.
Yeah, it runs into the issue Golem runs into, maybe to a lesser extent, but it gets cut because there's a lot of other stuff that's just good.
Earth, who would have thought that card like Titan get kind of pushed out by the other cards being just amazing?
Yep.
So.
Yeah, and then the next backup is 2 CP Tama. It's another really good card. It gets cut because a lot of other 2 CPs are just good. But it lets you play any character you want at instant speed. For the cost of breaking this, basically.
Yep. X and tap, put Tom into the break zone, play a character cost extra less from your hand onto the field. It's character. Like being able to flash in stuff.
You can flash in Toto if you really want to. You can flash any character, a monster if you wanted to.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think it's good. Next, we have Delita. He's a 3 CP 9K. When he enters the field, choose a character you control and break it.
And his S really never gets used.
Yeah, I think Delita's great right now.
Good in Golbez.
No, great in Golbez. Also really good at breaking like in Earth decks, like if you're trying to play some like Agito nonsense, play the Agito, play your free summon, play Delita, break the Agito, set it up again. I think Delita. I think there's a lot of cool stuff you can do with him.
Yep.
Unfortunately, not this Delita. It's 2 CP Warrior 5K. When Delita blocks, gains 2,000 power till the end of the turn. Maybe with Ward, maybe in Pauper Warriors could be good.
Yeah, but he's typically not good enough. Yeah.
Yep. Next we have Barrett, 3 CP 7K. All it has is a S Hammer Blow for S and 2 Earth. Choose a 4, deal it 4,000. Barf. This card's never going to be
most times you see a name Barrett, at least right now, it's just not going to be a great card.
Yep. Next we have Geomancer. When it enters the field, choose a 4. It gains Brave till the end of the turn. If you want to do that, you just play Momodi.
Yeah, not good enough.
Yeah, not good enough. Momodi has replaced that card. Next, we have Prish, 5 CP 8K. When Prish blocks, Prish gains 4,000 power till the end of the turn. For Earth, Prish gains Brave until the end of the turn. And for S is S and Earth, it's Auroral Uppercut. Double the power of Prish till the end of the turn. I think the card's good. Unfortunately, again, Earth is just really crowded with good cards.
Yeah, and you have to run multiple Prishes typically. Like you're going to run like the 2 CP Prish.
Yeah, the one that can replace itself. Amazing on defense, though. I think it's still an amazing defender. Next, we have, I think, one of the best cards in the game. That's 3 CP Hecaton Chair. Choose a backup, cost 3 or more, and break it. This thing is getting rid of a lot of threats.
Yep, it's really good. Big backups, and that's like something that you can't do very often right now.
And this is like really the only answer to Alize against Scion. So there's a lot of this, and it's, again, great with Vanille. Next, we have another great Earth backup. We have Mustadio, 5 CP EX Burst. When he enters the field, choose a dull forward and break it. You run this card. You
run it because of the burst.
Right, this is Earth's 7-drop Odin, essentially.
Yeah.
So, still
feels
great.
bad in the mirror, but...
No, but it's a great card. Next, we can just skip. It's a 2 CP 6K. Vanilla's
Unless you really want to play monks.
Yep, and you're not. Next, we have a 2 CP backup monk. Put in the break zone, choose a forward, gains 2,000 power. You're better off just playing the Opus 2 monk.
Yeah, it's just better.
Yep. All right, now we're moving along. We're almost wrapping up here. We have Red Mage. We've started Lightning. Red Mage, 2 CP backup. Choose a forward. It gains haste till the end of the turn. We talk about those staples. This one's a staple.
Yep.
Will always be good. Next, we have X-Death, which I saw this on stream today. 5 CP, 9K. Put any card put into the damage zone due to X-Death cannot use its EX burst.
Just play Earth if you want to do that.
Yep, Walls just does it better. Next, we have 4 CP and choose a forward. It costs 4 or less and break it. This is Lightning's best answer to Dodaluma.
Yep.
I take that back. The next card is Lightning's best answer to Dodaluma.
Well, if it hits off the top.
Indeed. So 7 CPO and EX burst, choose a forward and break it. This card is Lightning's version of Mustadio. Moving right along.
It's just better, but yeah.
Yes. Had to do it. Next, we have 3 CP Onion Knight, 3 CP 6K. When Onion Knight enters the field, choose a 1 damage forward, deal it 5,000 power. Guess what? This will be Al Cid's best friend until the day the game ends.
We just became best friends.
That's right. They want to go do karate in the garage or whatever.
You got it. We need to alter our Onion Knight Al Cid where they're like shaking hands and there's like a garage or something.
They need to.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You gotta get the extended art too. Like they have to go together.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Get
Verse
that done.
stackers.
Get that done.
We got to get somebody on that stat. Next card's actually pretty relevant these days seeing play. It's 5 CP Orlando, 5 CP 7K. When he attacks, deal 3,000 damage to all your opponent's forwards, and for 2 lightning, you can give him haste. I think he's a great one-of right now, again, because of like Vikings and stuff, because you can play him, haste him, and then just wipe their board of all that stuff. And then, combo, I know Andy Carmona loves using him with Maquis.
Yeah, because he gives him first strike.
Yep.
So he's basically swinging up for 10.
Correct.
Yeah.
Card's good. Here's another card that's seen play in a few decks. 6 CP Kane. By God, it's Kane.
By God, it's not.
By God, it's not. EX burst, when it enters the field, choose a forward. It loses 5,000 power till the end of the turn. Dragoon's Pride, S2 Lightning and tap. Choose a forward, break it. Kane will not activate during your next active phase. The only reason it's been seeing play is for that EX burst. And
he also just costs too much. Mm-hmm. He's not good in Dragoons, really, so you're not going to see him there. Mm-hmm. I tried to play him in like an Earth Lightning version of Dragoons. That was kind of fun. Mm-hmm. But just competitively, it's not great.
Yep. Next, we got some fun ones. We have first Gilgamesh. He's a 3 CP 7K. All he has is an S. It's Morphin time for S and 2 Lightning. Till the end of the turn, he doubles his power and gains first strike and brave. He can attack twice this turn. Pretty good.
The only thing is it forces you to S before attacking, and
which as soon as you do
that opens you up to removal.
You're dead. Oh, absolutely.
So that's why he doesn't see much play. But he does. His name is Gilgamesh, so he counts for the next one.
Right, and that next Gilgamesh is the reason to play that card. He's a 4 CP 8K with Brave, and he has probably one of the most annoying S's in the game, and that's Strongest Sword for S and tap. Choose a forward, remove the top card of your deck from the game. If the removed card is a forward, break it. If not, deal it 3K. Which, in this meta, is still relevant. If somehow you're playing Golbez and you hit the one back
you just have to tap him
to
deal 3K, which doesn't feel great. Usually you're trying to kill something big. Great in Strongest Sword Golbez. Great in any Strongest Sword deck that's like all forwards. The problem is you lose out on consistency when you run decks like that. So, I don't prefer playing them, but it is really annoying when it gets online and someone draws all 9 Golbezes on you. Gilgamesh.
We're looking at you, Nathan Horn. All right, moving up, we've got a Black Mage, 2 CP backup for 2 Lightning and tap. Put Black Mage into the break zone, choose a forward, damage forward, and break it. I think it's still a great backup.
Yep.
In a war, Wind Lightning, he's amazing. And Mono Lightning currently can be pretty good.
Yeah, he's pretty solid.
Yeah,
I prefer the other Black Mage and Mono Lightning, but in Wind Lightning, he's great.
Yeah, absolutely. Next, we have Cat Sith.
This is the card I was talking about.
All right, when he enters the field, choose a backup of 1 or less and break it. Holy shit. Yeah, this guy just says, get fucked, Sid, too.
Well, they usually will get their value out of it, typically. But, I mean, still. I started running this in Title now, because in Title, everybody runs those little 1 CP fuckers.
No! Look at that! You just broke Title wide open. Really,
not really, but some decks
don't.
Still. But yeah, I mean, it can be relevant. So.
Yeah, no, I agree, and it seems fun. And then he has an S slots.
Slots is pretty whack, but I mean, it can be decent if it hits, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, it deals 7K to all active forwards. Yeah, it could be fun. Could be good. Next one is 1 CP Kate Sith. When he enters the field, choose a forward opponent controls and dull it.
It's a great Z-Miss target. It's cheap.
Yep, and sometimes it'll just win you the game.
Yep.
You just play this guy for 1. Yep, good to go. Next is Sage, 4 CP backup. When Sage enters the field, choose a character card in your break zone, add it to your hand. I know some people still play it.
It's pretty good. It's costed for about what it's worth, right? It gives you a backup and it gives you a card back. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's good. It's sometimes just too slow.
Yeah. And Zemus is a thing, too.
Yep.
Next, we have Duke Goltana as a 3CP Searcher. He's the Duke. He's not Hunter Nance.
The older version.
That's right. It's the oldest version of Hunter Nance. When Duke Goltana enters the field, you may search your deck for a job knight and add it to your hand. Knights have kind of fallen off since Opus 6, but I think if knights remain relevant, so will he.
It's great in title.
Oh, oh my god. Dude, he might be the best searcher in the game in title. So good. Next, we have Golbez, 6CP 9K. This guy, when he's put from the field into the break zone, you may search for up to 4 forwards of cost 2, each a different element, and put them into play on the field. Their auto abilities will not trigger.
And he has a deck named after him.
Yeah, he's his own deck archetype. The deck archetype has kind of fallen off, but don't... Just because
it's
fallen
spike
off,
a tournament.
I swear to God, dude, Golbez is like the dredge of this game. It will straight up spike a tournament. Like, there'll be 1 Golbez, 2 Golbez players in the tournament. Chances are they're going to make the top. Yeah,
it's not in a good place right now because like there are a lot of things that can really mess with it.
Yep.
But I mean, if it gets going, it gets going. It's
Absolutely.
hard to deal with.
Next card's been a nice tech choice here recently. It's Zalbag. He's a 3CP 5K. When he enters the field, choose a forward of cost 2 and break it. I think he's
kills
great.
Kills kills Paul, kills a lot of relevant things right now.
Yep, just a good choice. And he's also, you can bring him back with Zemus and repeat the process, so I think he's a good card. Next we have Seymour. When he enters the field, choose a forward of cost 3 or less and break it.
Also good. You're paying 4 to kill a 3 and getting a backup on the board.
Still relevant. Deals with most of the new Warriors of Lights from Opus 5. Breaks Guy after he gets massive. You know, the new Fire Guy.
Yep.
So I think the card's really good. Fire Guy. Sounds like a really shitty Mega Man robot.
It reminds me of Kevin from The Office.
No, Fire Guy is like the Mega Man robot that just doesn't have a job. He like stays on the couch, just like eats all your potato chips. God. Fucking Fire Guy.
Get a job, Fire Guy.
Get a job, Fire Guy. That may be the name of the episode. Get a job, Fire Guy. Love it. Love it. Next is a great card, 1CP Summoner. Mono Lightning uses this card. This is the last time I have to say it. The 1CP backups are all still really good.
Yep. Yeah, ramp is a thing.
Yep. Next we have 3CP Summoner. Put Summoner in the... Tap, put Summoner into the break zone, cast 1 summon of cost 6 or less from your hand without paying its cost.
I think it's a good card. I think it's underutilized. Mm-hmm. You have to be playing multicolor, really, I think, for it to be great.
Yeah, true. Maybe in like a Lightning Earth deck that uses this, a Jito, just like some kind of like crazy like free summons deck.
Titan. Sounds okay.
Yeah.
The new Titan.
Yeah, sounds really great. Next we have Magus, 3CP. When it enters the field, choose a forward, deal at 5,000 damage.
It's okay.
Seems fine.
It's like a worse Irvin.
Yeah, right now it seems fine. Next we have 6CP Lightning. It was a legendary 6CP 9K. When it enters the field, you may search for 1 card named Odin and add it to your hand. Army of 1 is an S till the end of the turn. She gains keywords and she attacks. Choose up to 1 forward opponent controls. If possible, it must block Lightning this turn. You know what? I don't know if this card ever saw play that much because
it's okay, but it just again 6CP is a lot. It has to do something like really good.
Yeah, and Chicken Lightning is just way better. Like, Chicken Lightning is just pretty solid. Next, we have another Lightning, 4CP 4K, with haste when it enters the field. Choose 1 forward opponent controls and dull it. I think it's a great card in title, and I think this is another one. But I feel like if you're going to play this, maybe Kate Sith is better, because even still, you play Kate Sith, and then you can Red Mage haste it for cheaper than that.
Yep.
So,
yeah. Well, technically it's the same, because you're tapping Red Mage too, so it's like 4.
Yeah, I guess.
Well, no, it's 3.
Yeah,
3 total.
3.
Yeah, so you save 1.
Yeah.
But it requires 2 cards.
Yeah, so do with that what you do with that. Well, I can't use words.
Do with that what you please.
Thank you,
I get
sir.
what you're saying, yeah.
Thanks, man. All right, next we have 1CP Ramu, EX Burst, choose an active forward, deal at 5,000 damage.
Not worth a summon slot, sadly.
Nope, because Opus 6 brought a Ramu that just dumpsters every other
Lightning
Ramu.
summons are probably one of the harder things, too, like Earth summons, to figure out what to run. So.
Yeah, I think maybe that Ramu would have a home and win Lightning if it wasn't for Opus 5 Ramu, that if the damage forward, deal at 7,000.
Yeah, the one that's good at win Lightning.
Yeah, that's the one. You know, the one that's good and win Lightning.
Yeah.
All right, next we have Ramza. He's a 4CP Knight. For each backup you control, Ramza gains 1,000 power, and he has S ability. It's S and Lightning Shout until the end of the turn. Ramza lets it all out with gains 2,000 power, haste, and first strike.
It's also good against that Wygraph fight.
Turns out, yes, it is. Looking at you, Hunter.
But yeah, no, it's okay in title, I guess.
Yeah, I think he's great in title because that deck in title you're building to backups, and then you just play a 4CP 10K because I know you'll have a Velia out.
Yeah. I mean, he's a knight.
Well, he'll be an 11K.
Yep.
All right, next we have Ramses, a 3CP warrior. Choose a backup activated. Meh.
Good in like the combo infinite stuff decks.
Yeah, that's what he's there for.
But
right?
I mean, those cards they're never consistent enough, and they're too disruptible. So they'll never. It's hard for those decks to be competitive.
Yep. Next we have Ricard. He's a 4CP 8K for a lightning. Put Ricard into the break zone. Choose a forward. It can't be broken.
Funny
this turn.
thing, I don't think he's good enough in even Dragoon decks anymore.
He's not.
Sad.
He just isn't. Like, what's sad is the new Ricard is better, but not by much.
I don't know. It's close. They're both...
Only because the new one can at least search for Minwoo, and if you play that one in a Dragoon deck, and you can just search for the backup Minwoo. And just,
I guess so. Yeah.
That's a stretch too.
Yeah.
And that's if you're not playing.
But he
Pauper.
has to block. He has Cecil's.
Yeah, which is Barftown.
Yeah.
All right, so next we have a Dragoon, 3CP, 6K.
The decks too.
Yeah. So Dragoons are all kind of the same. Though this one is 3CP, 6K. It has first strike, just vanilla with first strike, and the other one is just a vanilla with haste. It's a 3CP, 5K. Yeah. Both of these Dragoons are fine. I think they get better if you have the Light War, the Earth
Typically,
Warrior
you want the one with
out.
haste. I will say that.
Yeah.
Like if you play Dragoons, typically you want the ones that have haste.
Yep, I agree. All right, next we have Lulu, 5CP Lulu. This card's making a comeback. Tap, put one back up into the break zone. Choose a forward, deal it 5,000 damage. It has Thundaga. For S Lightning Tap, choose one forward, deal it 10,000 damage.
Yeah, which is typically enough to kill whatever you want.
Yep, card's good. With the new Lulu coming out in Opus 7, I think it'll just get better. Next card is another Lulu. It's an Anthem. It's an amazing card. Keep it going. All right, we are down to our last element here. We are at water. We're going to fly through
we got
these.
light and dark, technically.
Yeah, well, not much happening there. Then we have Agrius, 5CP, 6K, First Strike, EX Burst, Search for Avelia, Great in a Night deck, Great in Title.
Yep, that's about it.
Next we have Ultimecia, 5CP, 9K. All the forwards other than Ultimecia enter the field dull. Doesn't matter. The card isn't great.
It's too slow.
No, but I have seen people build a deck where they try to rush her out with backup Adia, Lightning Water, and they just try to get her out like turn 2 and just...
Yeah, but then you have to lose a backup, and you're only saving like one CP.
Yeah, it's slow, but it seems neat. Next we have Alma. If you control Avelia, she's reduced by 1, and tap and you get to loot. I think she's great in Title.
Good in Title, not too much in anywhere else.
Yep. Next card is 5CP Vaughn. He's a pirate. 6K. When he enters the field, draw a card. When he forms a party attack, you get to loot. He's actually really good in my Title deck because Penella says Sky Pirate or Pirate. This card's great in my Title deck. I love it. That's about it. Otherwise, he's terrible. Next, we have Warrior Light, 4CP 8K. He makes standard units 2K bigger and gives them all first strike. This guy's busted in Dragoons and any standard unit deck.
Yeah, he's just really good.
Still good now, and I think Windwater standard units is still a very competitive deck, and he's a big part of that. Next, we have Avelia. Job Knights you control, gain 1,000 power.
Just good. It's an Anthem for a really good job type.
Correct. Yep. Next, we have Scholar, probably one of the best. Talk about those staple backups.
Staple, yep.
Tap, put Scholar into the break zone, choose a forward you control, return it to your hand. This is how you double Cognaza. This is how water decks win. Next, we have Cloud of Darkness. When he enters the field, each player chooses a forward he or she controls. All the other ones get put into the break zone. This card is good. The new Cloud of Darkness is better, but I think this can still be a win con in some decks.
It's pretty decent.
Next, we probably have the best card we've looked at in Water so far. That's 1 CP Evoker. Turns out card's still really good. Next, we have Gordon. He's a 2 CP 4K. Tap, next damage dealt to Gordon becomes 0 this turn. This guy got immensely better when they printed Clady. I think this card is still really, really good.
Yep.
Once you get him and Clady going, this guy just brick walls 2 attacks.
He just has to last 1 turn.
That's it.
He just has to last a turn. And he's really annoying. I
have blown so many people up with him. It's insane. Next, we have White Mage. When he enters the field, choose a forward activated. Not good enough.
There's just better 2 CP backups.
Yep. Next, we have 5 CP Cecil. Summon abilities your opponent
There's
controls.
better Cecils.
Yep. Moving right along. Next, we have Titus. Big fan of this card. For each forward other than Titus you control, Titus gains 1,000 power. Then we have Blitz Ace. For S and 2 water, until the end of your turn, Titus gains Brave, and he can attack as many times as the points of damage you have. This guy is still a finisher for water.
He just has to live.
Yeah. If Titus lives and you're at 6 and they're at 6 damage and you don't have an answer for him, get ready to lose the game. And that still holds sway to this day. And he's perfect in like the Fasoya decks and stuff like that. Next is a bad Titus. When he attacks, all water forwards you control gain 1,000 power till the end of the turn. There's better forwards that do that, like Amaric.
Yeah, also him and Abrick, just it's hard for them to fit in decks.
Yep. Next we have Knight. We're going to cover both of these because they both do the same thing. Except one costs 2 CP and he's a 5K. One costs 1 CP and he's a 3K. Forwards forming a party with Knight don't receive any damage. They work really well when they party, and you have
you
Warrior of Light out.
You can do some cute stuff with like the back of the party attack backups and stuff, but again, it's competitively, they're just,
Yep, next card is we have a Viking, our first Viking. He's a 2CP 1K. Enters the field, draw a card. He's the worst one, but because they made Layla, he's still playable.
Yeah. He doesn't see play because he's the worst one, though. Usually, if you want extra Vikings,
you play the one drop.
Yeah.
Because they're going to just die and you're drawing cards.
Yep.
So, next we have Geomancer, 3CP 6K. When it's put from the field into the break zone, draw a card. Man, you like Opus 4 just Viking way better.
Vikings, yeah.
Yep, next you have 2CP Geomancer. Tap, look at the top card of your deck. You may place it on the bottom of your deck. I like this
You
card.
can do cute stuff with it with like the new Astro. The issue is, again, there's just better 2CP backups. It's hard for it to find a slot because you can't break this. So.
Yep, I agree. Next we have Fairy, EX Burst. Choose a forward, activate it, draw one card.
It's pretty good.
Card's still fine. The only thing that's unfortunate is...
it typically gets the cut because a lot of water summons are good. And that's just going to happen in any element because of how many sets we just keep making. So.
Yep, I agree. Next card is still one of the best backups in the game, and that is Minwu. Pretty much what he says is if the damage dealt to a forward you control isn't lethal, it just ignores all of that damage. That card single-handedly shuts off Al Cid. It keeps Mono Fire from ever really being a thing, and I think Minwu is just a really good card right now.
Yeah, I think backup destruction is really heavy right now, and Minwu gets hit by all of it though. That's the biggest issue he runs into right now.
Which is fine, which means you're going to be playing 3 of them. All right, next we have Moogle. He's a 1CP summon, EX Burst, draw 2 cards, then discard a card from your hand. I think the card's fine.
Yeah, the issue is Vikings are a thing, and Vikings draw cards more efficiently, and this card won't be worth the slot right now.
Yep, and he's playing the Warrior of Light deck just to filter all of those light cards out
sometimes
of your hand.
Discarding cards out of your hand is important.
Yep, next one is Mime. He's a 2CP 4K. When your attack phase starts, you just change his element to party up, and then you draw a card.
Good in Golbez, good in that deck I was talking about before. That's not competitive. That's pretty much it.
Yep, I agree. Next we have Yogg Rosh. He's a 2CP backup. Summons or abilities your opponent control. Most choose Yogg Rosh if possible. I think he's neat. He's just kind of a band-aid for stuff.
He's only good against Archer to protect things like Minwu, but
because he still has to be a legal target. Yep. Next we have Huge, 3CP. When Huge enters the field, draw 1 card, then place 1 card from your hand at the bottom of your deck. Just not good enough.
Yeah, not worth a card slot right now.
Yep. All right. Next we have 5CP Yuna. My phone likes to lock up on me here. All right, it's 5CP backup. EX Burst. When Yuna enters the field, choose a forward you control. Return to the owner's hand. When a character is put from the field into the break zone, you may remove it from the game instead. Card is really good right now with all the graveyard recursion.
Gets around a lot of effects too.
Yep, I think that and Chaos Walker still a great 1-2 punch.
She's worth her cost.
Yep, next card's other Yuna. She's a 2CP backup with the cost required to cast your water summons is reduced by 1. This card's amazing. Choo-Choo Lane costing 3, Bismarck costing 1 just seems really unfair to me.
It's really good in mono water with the right summon package.
Correct. Next we have Leviathan. This card's just a classic. 3CP EX Burst summon, choose a forward, return it to your opponent's
It's been getting
hand.
the axe a lot lately.
It has for Opus 6, because the Opus 6 one just does more. You trade the burst for doing more. Next we have Layla. She's a 3CP 6K. When she deals
sucks.
Damage
her name's Layla.
Yep, because the new Layla is so much better. Next we have an amazing card. It's Waka. He's an Anthem. You're playing water. You're playing 3 of him. All right, now we're getting into the light cards. We have Onion Knight, 2CP haste 5K, 1 tap, return Onion Knight to his owner's hand. You may play 1 card named Onion Knight from your hand onto the field. You can use his ability only during your turn. I know there's an infinite combo with him, but
you can do some cute stuff. He's good in Golbez also. As an extra haster, but that's pretty much it.
Yep. Next is Cloud. He's a 4CP 8K. He has Brave, and he has 2 S abilities. First one is Meteor Rain. He does 4,000 to all 4 his opponent controls. And Omni Slash is choose a forward and break it.
He's good, but he's taking up a light or dark card and slot in your deck, and there's just a lot more powerful things that you can do. And he requires you to run multiple clouds also.
Yep. Busted in title.
He is good in title in the right deck, but I don't have him currently in mine.
Yeah, because there's now 7's a different deck.
I like the other 3CP light one too.
Yeah, I agree. Next we have Cosmos, 2CP backup.
You can just pair this together with
Chaos, which is the next one. There's the light and dark version of each other. They allow you to play multiple dark cards, and they tap for any element.
Yeah, they're really good. Chaos typically better because he's searchable.
Yep, correct. Next we have 5CP Emperor. When Emperor is put on the field from the break zone, you may search for 1 card and name Emperor and play it onto the field dull.
You can do some cute things. If you really like Kageyama, he loves this card. So if you want to make him happy, I guess you could play it. But I think overall it's not that strong.
Yep. Next we have another dark backup, 8CP Sephiroth. He's an CP 8K with first strike. When he enters the field, choose a backup and break it. He's only good when you're playing elements that don't have backup destruction.
Like fire.
Yep. Yeah. I know Freeman Birch plays him in the most current fire ice list he has.
Yeah,
and he's searchable. He's
best in fire, especially if you can find room for like shadow.
Correct. Now we're getting to the starter cards. We're going to blaze through these. 6 CP Cloud. He's cost to play Cloud's reduced by 1 for each category 7 forward you control. Each time a forward attack you control attacks, he gains 1,000 power till the end of the turn. So that's pretty good. Yeah. And Clem Hazard, choose a forward, deal at 8K. Great first starter card.
He's good in title.
Yep.
He can technically be free.
Yep. So. Next card's actually really good. Zangan, when he enters the field, search your deck for a card named Tifa and add it to your hand. Tifas that cost 4 or less gain haste. Which leads us to the next Tifa. She's just a 4 CP 8K with Water Kick. You search her with Zangan, she's swinging, and Water Kick is actually really, really solid.
They play off each other. If you run one, you're running the other. It's hard for her to find room for her right now, but she's not bad.
Yeah, I agree. Next card, Bahamut Fury. It's a Bahamut Fury. Sonic Fox over here. Bahamut Fury. EX Burst. Choose a forward. You may discard 1 card from your hand. If so, deal at 7,000. If not, deal at 5,000.
It's not great.
Barftown. And it's no longer good in title either because they have more summons.
Better summons, yep.
Yep. Next, we have Red 13. When it enters the field, choose a forward. It gains 3,000 power to the end of the turn. It has Cosmic Memory. Deals 6,000 to all forwards opponent controls for a low cost of 4 fire S and tap.
Yeah, it's just too expensive. He does some decent things, but it's hard to find room for him, again, in your deck.
Yep, but now we're getting into good starter cards. We have Sid Reigns, 2 CP 5K. When it enters the field, choose a dull forward, deal at 4,000 damage, and if it's put in the field for the break zone this turn, your opponent discards a card.
You should just put JFB's face on this card.
Yeah, pretty much. This card's amazing. This card is it is an absolute staple in Fire Ice decks. Mono Ice decks are starting to run it.
JFB runs it in everything?
He runs it in everything. That man just finds room for it in every deck he builds, and this card's great with new Renoa. You blink something, put 8K on it, they discard 2 cards.
This is probably one of the better 2-drops in the game, honestly.
Yep. Speaking of good 2-drops, we have Jill Nabat. Talk about staple backups here. She's a 2 CP Ice backup EX Burst. When she enters the field, choose up to 2 forwards and freeze them.
She was staple. I'd say like she's a little bit falling out of favor now. But she's still good when
she's a card that can just blow you out.
Yeah, because she's an EX Burst, and she does have an S as well, which is choose 1 forward, dull, and freeze for ice and S.
Yep, still a good card. Next we have Snow, 3 CP 7K. When Snow blocks, choose a forward and dull it. He has an S Vendetta for S and Ice. Until the end of the turn, Snow gains plus 2K in first strike, and you can only use this ability while Snow is blocking. Vomit.
Not good, and he's probably the worst looking foil in the game.
Correct. Next we have Sarah. She's a 3 CP 6K. When she enters the field, your opponent discards a card from his or her hand. Card's great. She still sees play. It's like a 1 or a 2 of in most tempo ice builds.
And she's searchable.
She's searchable by the next card. It's Mog 13-2. When Mog 13-2 enters the field, you may search for 1 category 13 forward and add it to your hand. Card's great. Got way better when they printed Orphan.
Probably one of the better category searchers in the game.
Correct. Because of Orphan, Sid Reigns, and Sarah. Next we have Brother. When Brother enters the field, you may search for 1 category 10 forward and add it to your hands. This card's fine, but I think with Gold Wings being the primary 10, Shinra is just better.
Yeah, but also you're probably not running either one. I don't even think they run either one really, even in the Gold Wing deck. Sadly, you might see Shinra.
I think there's like a Shinra. Yeah. Next we have 2 CP Valafor. This card's actually relevant these days. EX Burst, deal 3,000 damage to all forwards opponent controls. If you control a card named Yuna, activate all your backups. Yep. Cards he's playing now because of Vikings.
Yep.
Turns out it's okay. Next we have Pain. She's a 3 CP 7K. When she enters the field, if you control Yuna, draw a card. If you control Riku, she's free.
Yep, she's free a lot of the time, and then some. Also, a lot of the time you just get to draw cards.
Yep, she's good. I think now that we've actually seen them in action, because I know initially we thought this one was better.
I still like this one though.
You do?
I think people are overlooking this card. Yeah, I mean they're going for like the whole hexproof thing. Which is fine. But
this one draws a card and it's free, which is never bad.
So I still think this card's great.
Sure. Next we have Barlai. Tap, put Barlai. He's a 2 CP backup. Tap, put Barlai into the break zone. Choose up 2 forwards and activate them. I think that card's still good.
It's still good. People overlook this card too.
Yep. Next we have Riku. She's a 4 CP 6K. When you control Yuna, she gains 2K and can't be chosen by summons. If you control Pain, she gains another 2K and can't be chosen by abilities.
So I think the other Riku has replaced this card.
Yep.
The fact that you can get 10K is great, but you can't even target this with your own abilities and summons, which kind of sucks.
Yeah. All right, next moving right along, we have Vincent, 3 CP 7K. When he attacks, gains first strike, vomit. Not
good
great.
In title, that's it.
Yeah, that's about it. Next we have Wedge, 4 CP backup. When he comes into play, search for bigs, add it to your hand. Not great. Next is 3CP Jessie. She's the Category 7 Searcher, which is actually pretty good.
Really good in Title.
Also good in like Earth Ice decks, so it searches out Genesis for you.
Or Vincent, yeah.
Yeah.
If you're buying Vincent.
Right. I think it's good. Next we have 2CP Barrett, just a grenade bomb, deal 2,000 all the forager opponent controls.
If it was 3K, actually, he wouldn't be terrible.
Yeah, I agree.
But even then, he probably wouldn't be great. So.
Yep. Next we have 2CP Biggs. When a backup you control is put from the field into the break zone, deal 1,000 damage to forager opponent controls.
You can do cool things with Manifest and War Mech and Mystic or Furion, but it's very narrow and like you have to set that up and.
Yeah, there's just a lot there. These are great card spotlight cards. Next we have Gilgamesh, 4CP 8K. It can't be returned to your owner's hand to its owner's hand by summons or abilities. For 2 lightning, he gains 1,000 power till the end of the turn. And then we have Divider. It's S and 2 lightning. Choose a forward, break it. You can only use the ability if you receive 4 points of damage or more. Steven Arboleta.
He used to be good in mono lightning. Now it's hard to find room for him.
Yep. Yeah, he just doesn't have room anymore. Yep. Next we have Noel, 3CP 5K with haste. If you control name Sarah, Noel gains plus 2,000 power. Moving right along.
You're not going to see play.
Yep. Next we have Maquis, lightning and tap. Choose an attacking lightning forward. It gains first strike till the end of the turn. I think the card's fine. Andy Carmona absolutely loves this card.
It's good. It's decent. And there's a reason why it sees play too. Mm-hmm. First strike's a good keyword.
I agree. All right, next we have Lightning 6 CP. Cost play Lightning on the field is reduced by 1 for each Category 13 forward you control. It has haste. When it deals damage to your opponent, choose a forward and dull it. Forward opponent controls and dull it. It's fine. Chicken Lightning just does all of that better.
Yeah, just play Chicken Lightning.
Yep. Next we have Regetia. When Regetia enters the field, choose an active forward, deal it 3K. When it's put from the field into the break zone this turn, choose 1 forward your opponent controls and dull it. Regetia is still really, really good.
He's good by himself now too.
Yeah, he is. He's really good by himself because of cards like Paul, because of Vikings and stuff like that. He is still Al Cid's #1 side piece after Onion Knight. But he's become a strong, independent man, and he doesn't need no Al Cid. Next we have Shuyin, 4 CP backup EX burst. When Shuyin enters the field, choose a forward, cost 3 or less opponent controls.
Expensive.
Yep, doesn't do much. Next we have 6 CP Titus. Cost required to play Titus onto the field is reduced by 1 for each Category 10 forward you control. If you control a card named Yuna, Titus gains Brave. When the forward named Yuna is put from the field into the break zone, draw 2 cards. Not good.
Yeah, just better Titus. He's too expensive, even with the discount most of the time.
Yep, and now we're going to finish off with 2 cards. We've got Yuna. She's a 2 CP 5K
3
forward.
Cards.
Oh, there's 3?
Yeah.
It's Yuna, Lin, and Waka. That's right.
Yep.
So you have 2 CP 5K Yuna. When you cast a summon, you may dull Yuna if she is active. If you do, draw a card. This effect will only trigger once per turn.
Carbuncle.
Carbuncle has given her a new lease on life. Next we have Lina. Just Lin. I don't know, whatever. When your opponent casts a summon, activate Lina. Not good.
Not good enough.
And last but not least, we have Waka. It's not loading up on my phone, so go right ahead, sir.
When he attacks, choose a forward you control. Until the turn, it gets 1,000 power for each forward you control. For S, Water, choose 1 forward until end of turn. It loses all abilities and becomes 1,000 power. I think he's underrated. The problem is it's hard to find room for him.
Well, and also his name is Waka.
So you're probably playing him in mono water most of the time, and you can't,
Nice. Well, we did it. That was Opus 1. I think Opus 1's the biggest set, isn't it?
It is the biggest set. Has 3 starters. Opus 3 might be the same size, but it might actually be a little smaller.
Okay. So, yeah, we ran through all that. We ran through a lot of the cards because, turns out as we were reading through those, some cards could see play and are worth experimenting with. Some of them are still best left in your bulk boxes.
Yeah.
But we've ran a little long, probably a lot of long.
Yeah, we talked a little fast too, but that's okay.
But that's okay. We kind of had to. Most people know what we're talking about here, but we just, we had to kind of go lightning round here. But we're going to go ahead and wrap up. Next week is our 25th episode. And we were kind of inspired by the most recent episode of the Crystal Tower. We're actually going to kind of chronicle... We're going to do the same thing. We're going to kind of chronicle our journey and kind of review our episodes and just talk about, hey, we were right here, we were wrong there. I remember that. That was fun. Just kind of a journey through memories past, as it were.
Yeah, sounds like fun. So we'll take a break from the re-review.
Yeah, we're going to take a break just because I didn't realize, it's so funny. Like last week I was like, oh, episode 25, right? Oh, no. episode 23 is where we're at.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was in the future.
And even then, we might even take an extended break because I think we might do some stuff leading up to Nats. We'll see. We'll figure it out.
We've actually got a lot of episodes that we want to do and stuff we want to talk about. So we do appreciate you joining us on this extended episode. Sorry we were talking fast. We had a lot to talk about, and some of those cards are still really fucking terrible.
Yeah,
there's just no two ways to it.
Yep.
So we're gonna sign off by saying, "Get a job, fire guy."
Get a job, fire guy.
Oh, man. Hey, everybody. Thanks for listening once again to the RVA Returners podcast. If you like this content and you want to hear more, check us out on YouTube at RVA Returners. And make sure you follow us on SoundCloud and check us out on Google Play and iTunes.